if you want to filter in. Good evening and welcome to the official launch of HealthTech Milwaukee and the Southeast Wisconsin BioNet event series. My name is Tracy and I'm CEO and co-founder of Broad Streets, a health tech startup here in town. And I'm also a member of the planning group of HealthTech Milwaukee.
I just need to grab that. I'm not gonna.
Tonight I have the task of introducing a few people as the MC, including at the end our moderator for this evening. I also am going to be answering 3 of the most burning questions that you have tonight. The first is obviously, what is HealthTech Milwaukee? The second is, this is great beer, how do I get some more? And the third one is, do I really have to use that restroom? The answer is no. I'm going to start with a housekeeping answer. No, you do not have to use that restroom. There's actually restrooms located someplace else in the bottom of both of the stairwells over there. So with that housekeeping question out of the way, I would like to introduce Steve Rosch of Zimmerman Architectural Studios.
I really feel like I'm in the spotlight here. Wow, what a great turnout, what a great group of people. I've had so much fun introducing myself to some new people from different walks of life and different professions and specializations. It's fantastic. I'll be interested to count the number of name tags for all the people that showed up here tonight. It's a standing room only crowd. My name is Steve Rosch. I'm the Executive Vice President for Zimmerman Architectural Studios. Welcome to our office space. We're happy to provide it to support all of the great work that you all do every day. Our firm, a little bit of a history. Our firm is a firm of about 120 people, and we're about 111 years old. I'm not that old, but you know, it's Milwaukee Startup Week, and we're not really a startup, right? We've been around for a while, but I do feel that we have some similarities to a lot of the startups and the people that are in the room tonight. We have a passion for learning. We have talent for collaborating and a passion for what we do. So I feel a connection with the people in the room as I've been out talking to everybody. A little bit more information on our firm, and then I'll let you guys get on with your discussion. Our firm is broken down into studios. We have specialized studios within our firm. We work on things like schools and churches, public buildings, healthcare facilities, science and technologies facilities. If you total up our S&T and our healthcare studios, kind of catering to the group here, that's a little bit over 50% of our revenue. And while we're not on the front lines of healthcare, and we're not the scientists in the lab, we know that the spaces that we design support the great work that those people do. We firmly believe that a patient's health care starts, or a scientist's work starts, when they walk through the front door and we have an impact on them. So welcome to Zimmerman. If anybody is interested in taking a tour of this building after the presentation, there are a handful of people like me that work here that can give some tours or answer questions about the history of the building. So welcome and have a great meeting.
We're also very fortunate that this week is part of the Health Tech track of Startup Week Milwaukee. And here to tell us a little bit more about Startup Week Milwaukee is Matt Cordio.
Good evening. We've been to a Startup Week event already. I'm excited to see more hands go up after this event. If you aren't familiar with Milwaukee Startup Week, started last year, and it's an entrepreneur-led week focused on connecting, educating, and celebrating the region's entrepreneurs. We're really excited to have over 50 events this year, and also to have expanded it into 9 other cities around the state through the Wisconsin Startup Week initiative, which came out of Milwaukee Startup Week last year and demand that we saw from the rest of the state. But this week really isn't possible without strong partners and other entrepreneurs doing their part to pay it forward and move Milwaukee forward. And we're really excited tonight to celebrate the launch of HealthTech-MKE. This is a great organization, and we're really excited that they're one of our over 40 community partners here in Milwaukee, make the week happen. So if you are still looking for stuff to do this week, wistartupweek.org/Milwaukee is the place where you can see the entire calendar of events. We've got some great events coming up. So thanks for being here. And if after the event at 7 o'clock, if you want to head over next door, we have a startup showcase with about a dozen local tech companies at City Lights. Some of you may have already accidentally ended up there. So, great to see everyone. Have a good night.
So Matt, of course, helped me answer my second question, which was how to get some more of that beer. And of course, you're welcome to hang out here after the event. And City Lights Brewing Company is the one that provided the beer for the event, sponsored by Access HealthNet. And they have invited us to their space afterwards. So I'd also like to introduce another sponsor of tonight's event, Zishan of Pico, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about Pico.
Welcome. My name is Zishan. I'm being nervous because. Alright, so. Thank you very much. And I appreciate your presence here. It's been amazing to see you all here. So what Pico is a postdoc and pre-doc industry consulting group. We are the scientists working in the labs, but somehow we happen to have some time for us to learn more about entrepreneurial or startup skills so that we can eventually establish our own business or help working with other companies. And actually, it's a learning opportunity for us to go and learn with the industry, startup companies, or small or bigger innovative, bigger innovative ideas. So we are quite excited to have you guys here, and we look forward to have a good partnership with HealthTech-MKE as well as Startup Milwaukee. And we are very thankful to CTSI and BioForward for having the support whenever we need, because we don't have any resources, and that's why we are going very lean. So we are a small group, and then we need the support from you guys actually to come to us and help us understand what the startup company looks like and what the business is, and how can you teach us what the business is. So thank you very much, and look forward to talking to you guys.
So Pico is really a great opportunity for postdoctoral students to collaborate with local and even national companies and organizations working in the health technology and biohealth space. So I definitely want to do the formal thank yous as well. Obviously, thank you to Zimmerman Architectural Studios. The space is really fantastic. I definitely want to be sure to thank Michael Harrison at BioForward, who really helped organize and promote this event. Thank you to Pico and the Clinical Translation Science Institute who helped provide the food, for Startup Grind and Healthio for recording the event, and of course, Access HealthNet for the gear. I just love that they brought the kegs over straight from the brewery. That's right next door. So finally, I wanted to thank each and every one of you. Thank you so much for taking time out of what I know is a very busy schedule, what I know is rush hour traffic, even without any accidents on the highway. Thank you for taking the time to come here. And for joining us in this beautiful historic space in the Menominee Valley. How many people, just out of curiosity, knew that this development existed here right by the river? So a few of you, not everyone though. So I just wanted to say that my first time in the Menominee Valley was about 5 years ago, and I actually came to Menominee Valley on accident. It was when I first moved here, and I took the wrong exit out of 94 at night. And it was in an abandoned part of this area. and I was really quite lost amongst the Cream City brick and the industrial buildings. And through the haze, I saw this light glow of Solomons in the distance. But sitting in my car, I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified. It was really one of my first introductions to Milwaukee, and at the time, I really did not expect to fall in love with such a gritty city so much. And I was really charmed by the city, and I think Milwaukee surprises us. And Milwaukee certainly surprised me, and I can speak to some other of my colleagues here, when we started looking for other people that were doing health tech and health technology here in Milwaukee. We started out with just a very, very small group. That group soon expanded as we talked to more people, IntelliVisit, HealthEO, Angio360, BioForward. And then it kept going, and we met all together with Red Arrow, Dart Chart, Consumer Health Connections, Equistat, Dolman Constellations. We all met together and we said, I think there's a lot going on here, and we should probably figure out what's going on. So thanks to Matt Cordio and some other groups, we started figuring out who else was out there just in the health tech startup space, and then also with the established health technology companies. And of course, then the ecosystem expands even more when you think about Aurora, for instance, putting money into an innovation fund, and iCore, who's helping startups, and obviously we've heard from Startup Milwaukee, and really we just started to go, we really need to have an event. And even though there's lots of organizations and lots of slightly different organizations, and we do have health tech in common, we also have another thing in common, and that's how we really love Milwaukee. And we think Milwaukee is a great place to be, and we want to raise up Milwaukee as a great place for health tech. And we believe that working together, we can attract the attention of talent, capital, and other resources to the shores of the greater Milwaukee area. And that really is what HealthTech Milwaukee is all about, is building that community. So now we're all a part of it. Thank you again, and one more time, welcome to this event. I'm now pleased to introduce Elmer Moore, who will be moderating our panel this evening. Elmer is the Executive Director of Scale Up Milwaukee. Scale Up Milwaukee runs a number of programs, including Scalerator, the CEO Forum for Growth, and Spark for early stage entrepreneurs. Together, they have helped to create more than 150 new jobs in the region. He is also the founder of Milwaukee Denim. He makes jeans that embody the grits of Milwaukee that we talked about. He's incredibly excited about spreading the charm of Milwaukee, and wanted me to be sure to tell you that he loves autumn in the color blue and that he's right-handed. I will now hand it over to Elmer.
Go to the mic, or should we put it over there?
You might have to ask the people that.
Mike?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay. Amanda, would you say hello to everyone?
Hello.
Can everyone hear that?
Yes.
All right, great. Okay. All right, that was just the technical stuff. So, hi everybody.
Hi.
Brief disclaimer before we start. I'm so glad. Where did Matt go? Did he sneak out? Okay, so there were 3 words that Matt used. He said, this week is about, did anyone hear them? Connecting, educating, and celebrating entrepreneurship in Milwaukee. We're going to go real heavy on the celebrating tonight. So I love to share with people an analogy, and I'm going to encourage you to really invest in this evening. So I grew up, my grandfather was the pastor of the church I attended, and in the church that I attended, there was no such thing as a rhetorical question. And every moment was a conversation. So this evening, we're going to hear from some incredible people. And when they tell you their story, when they tell you what they've worked on, when they tell you what they are working on now, and what they will work on, your feedback can be vocal, it can be physical, emotional, spiritual, however you like. So if you are so moved by what you hear that something stirs up in you, and you want to say, Amen. Amen. I'm not going to stop you. Is amen okay? Amen is okay.
books out.
No shoes, no books. You can throw high fives and you can throw other stuff. All right, so couple quick orders of business. Who here is connected to the internet because of their pocket? That's everyone. Good. Startup Milwaukee's Milwaukee Startup Week. #MKE Startup Week. Yes. Okay. Good. HealthTech Milwaukee. Guess what our hashtag is going to be for this? Hashtag. That was a good one. Celebrate. That's the first tweet. Celebrate. Hashtag HealthTech-MKE. Any questions? There is a startlingly low number of people pulling out their phones. Thank you. Thank you. You got it? Perfect. Amen to that. All right. So, my name is Elmer Moore. I'm Executive Director of Scale Up Milwaukee, which is an initiative of the Greater Milwaukee Committee. The only revision I'm going to give to that introduction is that I love blue. And Scale Up has helped companies hire more than 600 people in the last 4 years. So we're really proud of that work. Okay, so we believe that growth is going to be a catalyst for economic prosperity. That's why we're having this conversation. You guys ready to talk about it?
Yeah.
All right, so the first order of business is the introductions. I'm not going to do that work. I'm going to let these folks do their work. Starting with Jay Mason, what I would love for you to do, as loudly as I am doing it, is introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, what you've done, and what you did for what you've done.
What I did.
Yes, well, you know, there's the title, and here, let me do it for you. Here we go. This is Jay Mason. He is founder and strategic advisor at Intellivisit. So tell us what Intellivisit is and what a strategic advisor does.
Yes, great. Well, hi everybody. Thanks for coming. This is a real labor of love for all of us. So this has been a little bit in the works. So this is kind of an epiphany moment for me. So I'm taking it in. You can say amen to that if you want.
Amen.
Thank you. I am a Milwaukee native. As Elmer said, I'm founder of Intellivisit. It's a 3-year-old company. It's my 6th health tech company that I've started in the Milwaukee area over the last 33 years. So I'm infinitely stubborn, not willing to relocate. Intellivisit is basically it's an artificial intelligence engine medical web graph that allows for a diagnostic interview to be built virtually and for it to be able to do assessment, to be able to do triage, treatment, and prescribing all virtually for today's simple, acute, self-limiting conditions. So things that you would routinely go into urgent care for, we're able to do on our app. So it's a web-based, app-based, and we sell this service to large self-funded employers and to large health systems to be part of their omni-channel delivery approach. So,
I mean, amen or clap? That was... Wow. So I've known Jay for a while now. I had no idea what he did. That is exciting. Let's go in order. Amanda, you're next.
Okay.
Amanda Baltz is CEO of Spalding Medical. Tell us what Spalding Medical is and what your role as CEO includes.
Sure. So Spalding Medical is actually a private spin-off of our parent company, Spalding Clinical. Spalding Clinical was founded by my family about 10 years ago. We do drug development for pharmaceutical companies out in West Bend. And along the way, we innovated a new proprietary cardiac monitoring technology that we brought to the drug research space. And we found that there was actually a market application for the healthcare, for the commercial market. So Spalding Medical was spun off from Spalding Clinical, and I am leading the effort to bring the product not just to the clinical research space, but also to healthcare settings. So we're in nursing homes, clinics, a number of different healthcare type of settings, and we're looking to really grow that. And it's The technology is really has evolved into more of a software application. So we're getting ready to scale that right now.
You said the right word.
Grow.
That's right. Let's go to Jake Behrens, CEO/medical director at Envision ADHD. Go ahead. You wanna get it? That was someone upset because they're not in the room. They're like, how do I get in? Jake, go ahead. Would love to hear about what Envision ADHD is.
Well, I'm a little different. That's just, Envision ADHD is what I create as my playground. I'm a little odd here is I'm a psychiatrist. I'm a physician that is one of the people that was very, very bored in the job they had. I was back at University of Wisconsin, faculty outpatient practice. And I got very, very fed up when all the tools that I was building and things to make my life easier and hopefully things easier for my patients, I could build for my friends' clinics, but I couldn't integrate into my own office. So I had to take this spin-off and go and create Envision ADHD, which is my outpatient practice for high-functioning adults with ADHD, which was a clinical passion of mine. And that's become the place where I get to build all my telemedicine, my outcome tracking tools, my scheduling devices. And so that's my little side job that allows me then to take this as a practice, and how do I take those tools that I'm quote unquote experimenting on the rich, but then taking to my geriatric like rural depression clinics, into methadone clinics, into areas. I think I just teleconferenced with a few people here before out in Richland Center of how do you bring care to other places. So for me, I was the guy fed up with his bored with his clinical practice, not being able to build anything new, and I had to create one space where I could basically have my clinical laboratory, so to speak, and where I actually see patients and do full evaluations and then remote management of high-functioning adults with ADHD.
Wow. I know a little something about ADHD. And finally, and nothing like lastly or anything like that, we have Eric Haberrichter, CEO and co-founder and chairman at Access HealthNet. Tell us, Eric, what does that mean?
What does that mean? It means I wear too many hats. No, Access HealthNet is a transformational, disruptive e-commerce solution for healthcare that allows self-funded entities, tap partners, et cetera, of all kinds to sponsor something we call the super option, which vastly lowers healthcare for both the employer and makes healthcare essentially at no cost within our program for the employee. Worked with Jay for a long time, and apparently I need to talk to Jay about my high-functioning ADHD. We're a very collaborative product that's based on technology that brings the stakeholders of healthcare together in the most transparent and streamlined manner that reduces costs significantly.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I heard a lot of big words. I heard first of all, bored in my clinical practice. I would love to get to say that one day. So just so we can know what language we should be speaking in this room, raise your hand if you have a PhD. This is a room. Raise your hand if you have an MBA. Raise your hand if you think of yourself as a scientist. Okay, entrepreneur. Raise your hand if you think of yourself as living to support entrepreneurs. Raise your hand if you're not quite sure what you want to be when you grow up. All right, good. And then finally, raise your hand if you are currently operating as a part-time job, full-time job, or aspirational job in health tech right now. Great. All right, I promise we'll have a ton of time for you to ask questions, but in the meanwhile, if there's something said and it was so fancy that you didn't understand it, don't let us move forward, okay? Because I want to make sure that we all get it. And y'all are some hella smart people, and we want to just make sure we're talking to the people we have here. So, why the heck would you do health tech? It's incredibly expensive. It's really hard. And last I checked, this is Milwaukee. It's the Rust Belt, right? What are you thinking? Why health tech and why Milwaukee? Whoever wants to go first. Amanda. She looks like she's ready.
For me, it's all about high impact, right? So health tech allows you to bring truly meaningful solutions that have very high impact, not just on your local community, but it allows you to actually make a wave throughout our planet. So it has this ability to just really transform and add a lot of meaning to people's lives. In healthcare, it's specifically for me, I'm growing a family, and when I look at my children and leave them every day, I do it knowing that I'm making a real, meaningful difference in this planet. And they know that, and they're proud of that, and I'm very proud of that. And in Milwaukee, I think for me, it's really, this is where I grew up. This is, I went to Marquette University, went to DSHA. I love this community. This is a community of very hardworking, very sincere, authentic people. And what I love so much about growing a business in Milwaukee is that Milwaukee rallies around our entrepreneurs and supports them. So that would be my answer.
Thank you. Jay, you want to add to that?
I would love to. Milwaukee has a heritage, as I think many of us know, of being a world leader. We were a leader a long time ago in the fur business. We were a leader in the grain business. We were a leader in machinery. We were a leader in machine shops. And I don't mean...
And denim.
And soon to be denim. And, that's probably not in our lifetime, but it's our heritage that we're on the cutting edge. And my feeling is it's time to do that again in this next revolution. And I think it's, we obviously have all heard about Foxconn, and we're all like, what is advanced manufacturing and what is the new digital economy? But it's here, it's coming, we gotta get ready for it. And health delivery goes hand in hand with that. If we're gonna have massive growth, we're gonna have high demand for healthcare in new, different ways, in better ways, and less expensive ways. And I think that's where technology plays a role. We all use technology every day for everything. We use artificial intelligence all the time. We don't even know it. And so I think for us, applying technology into healthcare for all that we do here and for all the companies that are part of HealthTech Milwaukee is the future. It's how we scale, it's how we have high impact, and you can do healthcare tech anywhere. So why not do it in a great environment with great employees, hardworking, low turnover, they value relationship, and it's not terribly expensive. I'm like, check all the boxes. I think this is where to do it.
So, Jake, why doesn't the rest of the world know this about Milwaukee? And how do we help them understand all the resources and assets that we just heard about from Jay and Amanda? We've got a workforce that works hard. We've got a low cost of living. We've got people that just are looking for opportunities to support. How do we improve that?
Well, there I can say I'm brand spanking new to Milwaukee. I've been here just over a year now, basically, to start the company. I came from UW, from NINA. I was in Madison from undergrad all the way through faculty. That's whatever, med school, residency, and everything in between. And it was a really difficult thing to do. I didn't know Milwaukee. I was in Madison, and fortunately for me to actually go and do anything, because of non-competes, I had to move. So it came into, if I really want to do this in my mid-30s crisis, it came down to being a pretty fiscally conservative guy. Like, do I buy a cheap used motorcycle, or do I go and take this idea of what I want to be able to do and create a company? I had to move. I wanted a medium-sized city because of state medical license laws. It'd be much more difficult to leave the state. And Milwaukee downtown was an area that had, one is a lot of young creative professionals, which I wanted to be my market, and second, I've actually found much cheaper, better, more unique, I love Cream City brick, office space down in the 3rd Ward. When I'm bootstrapping, not knowing what the heck I'm going to be earning, leaving a great job with great benefits and a full patient practice, which I actually really liked. I wish they were worse, so I could have said, screw you guys, I'm leaving, but they were fantastic people. But I was able to find, I'm out of my little tiny space that I use just for my evaluations, is out of a Regis space where I think I pay $450 a month with every service, including staff and internet and furniture combined, which I could never have found, even in Madison downtown. These similar spaces were double, and we're only on the far suburbs of Madison, which I don't really want to be in. So that's what brought me in here. But then I think for health tech, I'm in healthcare. Like I have a very selfish reason for being involved in this, is I want to make my job easier. I worked, before med school, I was in business-to-business sales for Singular. So I like, that's when Blackberries and Trios were coming out. And I just like playing with new things, and let me product test, let me find weird ways to make it, learning X10 stuff. And I always show people, hey, if you want me to, I'll show this thing how to make you breakfast. Do automatic things. This is back in 2003. But when I came in outside in clinical practice, I realized I'm in psychiatry. We're not exactly at the forefront of innovation or technology. And I found in there, by simply writing some ways to collect data, to visualize data with patients, you're able to transform that world. And I felt like I was not doing everything I could for my patients. There's so much unknown in my field, and I want to bring some bit of objectivity. And to me, it was really, how do I make my note writing easier? How do I make it so I'm not staying up at night trying to keep up with this? How do I make my decision processes more automated so I'm being more, I guess, standardized and knowing that I'm trying to make the right decisions? So for me, it was a purely selfish process. I want to make my life easier, and just so happened that I wanted to do the best things I could for my patients. And in the standard environment, I didn't feel like I was able to do that.
Thank you. So Eric, how do we do it? How do we make this region a beacon internationally? Let's go big. Interstellarly. How do we make it the beacon for health tech that I think we're saying already is? Are we agreeing with that? How do we really cement our role in this solar system as a health tech capital?
In the solar system.
Yeah, let's just go.
I wasn't prepared to answer this question, but I have to answer. I think that we have to start with the fact that this is like building something, right? And the first thing that you do when you build something is you start with a foundation. And Milwaukee has an incredibly strong healthcare foundation. We have some of the highest quality, most consistently quality outcomes, not value-driven necessarily, but quality-driven healthcare systems in the country are here in Milwaukee. Whether it's Ascension or Aurora or UW Health or ProHealth, these are all extremely high-quality providers. Beyond that, we have a highly energized employer manufacturing base here that's growing and expanding. We also have the 5th highest number of developers, quality developers available in the country. So
whoa. Say that again.
Wisconsin is number 5 in the country for access to quality software developers in the country. Just behind Silicon Valley, folks.
Amen.
Thank you. The foundation is here, right? But we're talking about, we're making a little beacon. That's a lighthouse, right? When you build a lighthouse, the foundation's really little, and it's really vertical. And at the top is a big shining beacon, right? That's where we have to get. And the journey of building from the foundation to a health tech center that people are going to recognize from a distance, frankly, is capital. Our incredibly strong Midwestern values make us an exceptional investment base, right? My CFO, COO, and I just talked to a group from Texas called Elsewhere Partners. And what do they mean by that? We've been investing in health tech in Silicon Valley, on the East Coast, and in San Antonio. And we recognized one thing: we need to invest elsewhere. Because the people in these markets have been doing tech for a long time, and they're drunk on one thing: money, capital. And they're raising hundreds of millions of dollars and not doing a lot with it necessarily. What I think our market has the ability to do, because of our incredible Midwestern values, is to show people that we can take that foundation and with less capital get to the top and shine that beacon. Because we understand what it means to bootstrap. I mean, we talked to someone like Jason. I wrote up my office of $450. I don't know about everyone else here. I started an incubator paying $350 a month. That included my coffee. You start small and you build big. You don't tell a company I want $100 million so I can buy this building and ride a skateboard to work inside my building all day until I decide what I want to do next. And I think that we have that, and that's what is going to differentiate Milwaukee from pretty much anywhere else when it comes to health tech.
Jay, where are you from?
I'm from here.
Yeah?
I grew up in Fort Atkinson, a little farm town, and I've been in Milwaukee my whole working career.
I love it. So if you had to translate to someone who's not from here, what do those Midwestern values that we keep hearing about, what does that actually mean?
Funny you should mention that. I don't know if anyone else has read a report out of Chicago. Hyde Park Ventures is a venture fund, came out with a report not too long ago, and really talked about the Midwest and Upper Midwest in particular, and what is unique about the investing in companies in this region. And they said one of the obvious things any entrepreneur here will know is that we do have lower valuations than on the coast. That is attractive for funders, not so much for us. But the other two things they said was statistically, after 3 years, we are 50% more likely as a company here to still be in business. And we're 80% more likely after 5 years to still be in business. There's a lot underneath the surface that reinforces that. Workforce, stability, capital efficiency, low cost, stick-to-itiveness, all those things combined, I think, are our secret sauce as to why investors should come here and put dollars to work.
Thank you. I love what Tracy said earlier. She said, Milwaukee's surprises us. I suspect that what we just heard kind of gave you that feeling too, like, us? Wow, that's impressive. So, Amanda, I got a question for you. You are a great example. You are a multi-generational entrepreneur, right? You grew up in a house of crazy people who were unreasonably optimistic about what they could build, and you said, hey, this is our family thing. We all make terrible decisions. This is what we do. What would you want to say, as someone who doesn't know anything else, to a room full of people about the opportunity, we'll be optimistic, right? The opportunity to engage in entrepreneurship in a really hard field, right? Health tech, in a place that people aren't talking about the way they should, Milwaukee. What would you advise them? How would you encourage them so that they run out of the doors to get to their laptops and start cranking?
So I would say that we were so naive in terms of everything that would be required to build what we were looking to build. I will also say that there was a tremendous amount of mentorship and support we had from a lot of partners in this community who really helped us figure out how to realize the dream. We all came from science backgrounds, and the journey of growing a business, of seeing the problems that are in the healthcare space, leveraging science and technology to solve those problems, and then to see the business grow and unfold as you solve those problems is a beautiful, beautiful journey, and you learn and grow so much. And not only do you grow, but all of the people that you've brought along to help you grow also grow in that process. And we've had people leave Spalding and go start their own software or health tech firms. And this is how we grow our overall community and bring the community up. So I would say that leveraging the people in our community who've been there, done that, who can help guide us and lead us. They're here and they're so generous and willing with their time. And I think that the journey for people who have that healthcare knowledge on the business side is really a beautiful one, and is very it's prolific, so it just continues to expand and kind of bud and grow within the community.
So I'm going to stay on you for a minute, Amanda. I'm going to ask all of you this same question. What do you need to help you grow right now?
So two things. We need more big thinking, right? So and in order to think really, really big, we need partners who are willing to, you know, I was talking about this beforehand, healthcare settings that allow us to do some live testing in, right? So I want to fail fast. I want to understand if this solution that we're drumming up is really going to hit the mark. I need to test it. I need those partners. And in order to keep thinking bigger, I need to do that fast. So having those partners, I think, is critical. And then I think having some, you know, some health tech capital-focused investors or funds, having access to or having more conversations with those types of people who are willing to really put the financial investment in to keep thinking bigger. I would say those two are what we need.
So, just so I'm clear, what I just heard you describe is both the process of the entrepreneurial validation,
Yes.
but also kind of the clinical pathways to really validating your product's hypothesis. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Good. So raise your hand if you fit the mold of a potentially great partner. Everyone should have their hands raised. Try that again. Just gonna try that again. So what we just heard was greater connectivity within the region, access to partners with expansive thinking, the growth mindset. This is like the training wheels version of the question. Who here has a growth mindset? Great. Okay. Who here could be a great partner for Amanda because of their growth mindset? Now here comes the fun one. This is the other one you want. Who here is a growth mindset thinker? That was a weird one. From a potentially large healthcare provider type partner? Yes, thank you. I knew there were people who were. Right. Now, this is the one you really want. Actually, I'm not going to ask the third one yet. We'll come back. We'll come back. Jake, what would help you grow?
Well, I'm on a different trajectory than a lot of the people here with working specifically in direct patient care is what I really care about. But my passion is how to bring physicians or here kind of healthcare providers' voice into your companies. As I know from our standpoint is we sit back, we care about caring about patients, and all of you are building these amazing tools. Yet no matter how amazing they are, if they get forced onto providers, that is something of, I think that loss of autonomy is one of the bigger drivers of physician burnout. In the AMA RAND study of 2012, my passion is here is if you are building things, I want to connect you to physicians. If you need problems from the ground up, I want to connect you not to the heads of these big organizations, but to the people at the bottom actually doing it. And here's where I'm coming from, is just coming off president of the Dane County Medical Society, even though I was living in Milwaukee, as well as on the board of the Wisconsin Medical Society. I want to connect you to physicians. If you, I want to bring people who have actual problems, and I guarantee you all of us do things under the table. We all find ways to solve our own problems. We can't tell our higher ups because they're just going to tell us, no, you can't, because that's the general answer. So my biggest thing is how do you put these supports around providers? We're not going to come out there and found a company, but if you can show us the legal, I don't know, there was a slide on HealthTech Milwaukee, I remember just trying to build this a long time ago between patients. If you scroll down on the website of how do you bring in funding, designers, programmers, the physicians, your legal, your accounting. I knew nothing about starting a company. I had to learn a lot from different advisors through the free legal business formation thing at UW when I was first coming around. I thought I was crazy for even wanting to do something different. But if anything, here's how you guys can support someone with that idea from the incubation model. That's what I want to bring people who are struggling in their clinical practices, seeing patients, and bring them to you and say, like, hey, this is what I'm struggling with, this is what I've been trying, and if you want to validate things, as physicians, we can do that tomorrow in independent clinics, not in large ones, but to bring the independent practices to actually test things.
Who here is developing something that could take advantage of and benefit from access to individual independent clinicians? Oh wow, yeah, you were first, but you're not alone. Interesting. Okay, so that's two essentially It's two folks talking about connectivity. That's the word I would use to describe what we just heard. Thank you, Jake. All right, who wants to go next? Eric.
I'm going to take your thing. Who here is an employer or has employees? Just a couple, okay. Who here thinks healthcare overall is too expensive? Who here thinks that the current total healthcare delivery system is exactly right? All right. So who here in the last 6 months has taken a meeting from an entrepreneur locally and given them a chance not only to pitch you, but to pilot a product? Just 2, 3, I'm sorry. That's what we need, okay?
Amen.
What does Milwaukee need? Milwaukee needs the people here to embrace us, not just as investors, but to embrace us as clients, okay? So that when I can sit up here and say I can save any employer 7 to 10% of their total medical spend, okay? And not one person here said they believe that the medical delivery system we currently have is exactly right. So there's something wrong. So it's time to start saying, stop saying, healthcare's messed up. It's time to stop saying someone has to do something about it. It's time to do something about it and to embrace the people that are actually doing something to change it. More insurance, more legislation, more hospitals is going to change nothing. Jay's product changes things. Spalding does a lot of great things, but most of us aren't going to start cardiac monitoring this week, so that's not going to happen. And if we have a key executive at our company that's spending all day with a fidget spinner instead of being productive, maybe they should go talk to Jay. But all of us have something to offer. Give us a chance. Don't just come listen to us. Call us. Check out our website. Set an appointment. Let us come tell us what we can do for your company, what we can do for your organization. Yes. Love to answer a question.
Kind of self-serving, but your company and your background would lend itself well to the crowd. To just make one more point. I apologize for being maybe too open here, but in your history, I think you've demonstrated the fact that not only can you show savings, but you can show great value to both the consumer and the employer. And if you can tell me maybe what the difference between $1,200 and $600 might mean to everybody in the room here, please answer the question.
By the way, kudos for stacking the audience.
No, I didn't. This is not my first rodeo. This is my 9th, I think. I think it's my 4th healthcare rodeo. And the one that maybe somebody in the room has any knowledge of is a company I started 11 years ago called Smart Choice MRI. And we fundamentally transformed the delivery of medical imaging in this market, and now, since I've left, much expanded, where we took something, an MRI, which locally cost an average of $2,300, but could be as much as $10,000, and said, look, we can do the exact same thing for $600 every day, just as good or better, and return all of that money back to the local economy. In the first 5 years we ran that business, we saved the local economy over $40 million on medical imaging, all of which got spent on something else. Anything else anyone else in this room sells, it got spent on you instead of an unnecessarily expensive MRI. All of healthcare works this way. Now, we're in a free market solution. I just said, we're lucky, we have the best providers. We have smart people, great delivery systems, incredibly activated physicians who want to do the right thing, and tremendous delivery vehicles. That's not the problem. The problem isn't delivery, the problem is how we pay for it, how we monetize healthcare. And we've gotten to a point where now the total healthcare economy, 43% of the total healthcare economy is spent on not people who provide healthcare. There are only 3 people who matter in healthcare, in my world, and I hope everyone's going to agree with this. Providers, doctors, nurses, people who actually give healthcare. Patients, that's what's the most important, that's what healthcare is about. And then a lean payment system, some way of saying, okay, we've got to pay for this stuff. If you're not one of those 3 things, you're the problem, period. That's it. Those are the only 3 things that matter. If I was selling cars instead of healthcare, and I told you I'm the guy that sells you the, the little pine tree thing, and I was 40% of the cost of the car, you'd think I was crazy. But that's how healthcare works.
So you started this, hey now, all right. You started talking initially, you asked the audience, who here in the last 6 months has taken 2 meetings, and let someone pitch? And we had very few hands. So the lights are on, I can see everybody. I'm gonna offer a challenge. Who here is willing to commit to, in the next 6 months, taking at least 3 meetings with an entrepreneur and receiving their pitch with an open mind and with encouraging words? Who here is willing to commit to that? Wow, you are not really buying in. So here's the thing, if you are part of this ecosystem, these entrepreneurs,
Can we change it to,
yes, please,
to honest feedback
there we
instead of
go.
encouraging words? I think we'll get another hand.
Well, but I'm gonna be careful because it's very easy to say why something won't work. Very easy. What, are you crazy? Entrepreneurship is not a good decision. Realistically, right? But that's why we love you. Because you took a bad decision and you made it something exponentially more impactful and good. So who here is willing to commit to taking 2 meetings in the next 6 months to give constructive and honest feedback? How about that? All right, thank you. Much better. All right, so we're going to switch over to asking you all to give the questions, but I have one more that I want to ask from you. Our goal is to make sure that everyone in this room has an agenda, has an objective, has an action that they can take. And I hope it'll keep everybody up tonight. I don't want folks lying in bed thinking, how am I going to get that done? What is the thing that you want everyone in this room to do that will change the fabric of health tech in Milwaukee, that will change the fabric of entrepreneurship in Milwaukee, that will make all of us more successful? Go. That's a big one, but I'm just going to give them a second to think about it.
All right, so
Thank you, Jay.
I think we need a culture of supporting entrepreneurship, and much like Eric said, give it a try. You know, if you go to the valleys on either coast, they're bold about getting new ideas to try. They will unabashedly put a pilot together, run it, do the validation, tell you it's good or bad. They're not shy about that. We're very reluctant in this market to do that. And I think that's what we as a community need to do, is to say we expect our community to do this. We expect our community to give solid entrepreneurs with good ideas a try. Because if we do, we'll find very good solutions. And we'll create this culture of we're a can-do, problem-solving city. So that's what I would do.
Jay, I want you to translate that into a dare. So I want you to say, I dare you too.
All right, so just, you've all got networks. You've all got people you work with. You've got dinner parties you go to. You've got neighbors that you hang out with. It's just to talk about it. It's to create voice, to say, why aren't we giving our entrepreneurs a fair shot? I think if we can all talk about that, you're going to start seeing it show up in various places. And I think that's how you change culture. You don't do it with something big and elaborate. You do it with a lot of people starting to talk about it. So one example, for giving it a try, my last company called My Health Direct, we started 12 years ago, and it was around interoperable scheduling. And we went to Aurora, and Sinai Hospital was having massive overcrowding in their ER. St. Michael's just closed because of an overcrowded ER that just decimated their hospital. And so we convinced them to give us a try. So we dropped our scheduling software into the ER floor. We scheduled primary care visits with FQHCs and community health centers. The nurses on the ER staff tore our product apart and helped redesign it and made it immensely efficient. They said, I don't have 8 minutes to run your app, I have 30 seconds to run your app. So we did, we dropped it in, and we were able to reduce repeat ER visits for Medicare, Medicaid, and self-pay patients by 25%. And today, it's still in this market. That company would not exist today had Aurora not given us a chance. So I'm living proof. I have a highly successful company. We've raised $30 million. We're soon to exit. I can attribute that to Aurora giving us a chance. So that's what we need. That's what we all need.
I like it. Jake?
I'd say is get your products, just like Jay was saying, into the in vivo world. Work with people on the ground floor. And any advice I have is we're working with, at least with physicians, is the holy bond that we have between a physician and a patient is that tough thing to break. Physicians, as much as we are right now, they don't see themselves as employees. They are independent people who work with their patients, and anything that gets in between that is going to be something that's going to meet a lot of distaste. So anything I can say is have your products. You say you don't know, no one knows until you put it into the situation of other people that are using it, doing with it in those emergency moments in there where there's so many things you do not know that happens in that emergency room, or even just the most basic clinic appointment. You don't know until you throw it in there, see how the interactions go. And anything I can say from just the medical background is work hand in hand with partners. I know we're not easy people to get in with. That's what I'm trying to change. I want to make that liaison so you get directly into getting positions you want from the medical society. And I look in there, so it's just being able to give things a chance. I'm a big fan of lean and failing fast. I learn by failing, and I try not to fail too hard, but those are the lessons you don't learn. So even if we come forward, if you have something you want to try, we sit there with a whiteboard, is even to allow physicians to give them a chance to build something. That's what I want to be able to feed people to you, because I guarantee you, we're all there. We're all very discordant in our given places, and we have so many tools under the table. We just want to bring it to fruition.
Eric, I dare you to
Believe.
repeat yourself. Say it again. Say it again.
You gotta believe. I mean, you know, part of our Midwestern values, right, is to measure like not twice and cut once. We measure about 10 times before we cut, and then we draw a line, and then we stand back and look at it. You know, we gotta crawl out of Milwaukee's image, right? We gotta become who we are, not who people think we are. Right? Woo! What does the world think of Milwaukee? Shamil, Shamazel, Hassan Pepper, hey! I'm glad we sponsored the beer. I'm only a second generation, and my family came here to make beer in the early 1910. But I didn't get to make any. But this is what people think. I mean, we're hops, Harleys, and a bunch of idiots. It's just not who we are. And it's time for us to start believing in who we are and believing that this can be a new epicenter of growth, of innovation, ideas, but built on those conservative Midwestern values. And the idea that, look, you don't need to spend $100 million to start the next big idea. You can bootstrap it. Google may have started in the garage, but, they weren't working there very long, That's, I think, what it is. We have to believe. We have to be positively Milwaukee and not just that silly morning show. But it's a good morning show. But yeah.
I'm going to challenge one thing you said. I don't think we can be. I think we are. I think we are growth capital. I think we are manifesting it. Right? We are a health tech capital. We are a water technology capital. We are an innovation and labor capital. We are so many things. Man, I'm going to give you the last word on this. I dare you to.
I'm going to get tactical.
Oh, yes, please.
I dare you to think of just one contact that you may have that may provide a clinical validation setting for any one of our companies, and to reach out to us and let us know, make the introduction.
I love that. Very specific. I dare you to think of one contact who can provide a clinical validation setting and introduce them to them. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. My dare would have been to ask for something scary. That's a great example. So, would love to hear from you. What questions do you have? Mr. Leslie.
If, to build on what the panel has said, and what you have, and the challenge that you laid out earlier, if we really want to, if our goal is really to shine our light as brightly as the coasts, okay, then it's not 2 meetings within the next 6 months. It's a commitment at C-level to take one meeting a week for the next 6 months and really start moving the needle, okay? Otherwise, you know, we're not really pushing the envelope here. We need to try harder.
Any C-level folks that want to commit to one a week for the next 6 months? Ulrich, boy, look at that. David, give him a high five for me, please. Good job. Nice, thank you for that challenge. Other questions, comments, thoughts? See you in the back, my friend.
I think one of the big challenges between Milwaukee and the coast is that there's a perception of risk. On the coast, they see a lot of success. If you go to San Francisco, for instance, you've got just a literal mountain of very successful biotech companies that are very willing to come in, and they all have VC funds that will all support the individual technologies in that area. Massachusetts is the same way. Go around Boston, it's very similar. In Milwaukee, it's a little bit different in the fact that the perception of risk is a little bit different as far as healthcare goes, and I think it's viewed in this area as a very capital intensive and also very high risk type of endeavor. So I guess my question to the panel is, how do we change that perception of risk? How do we make it so that, you know, yes, there's a certain amount of risk, but the reward is incredibly high? Because at the end of the day, people aren't investing just because they just love to give money. They're investing because at the end of the day, they want to see a significant profit. They want to see a significant, end of the rainbow that's very positive. How do we change that perception so that investment in biotech and investment in health tech in general is viewed more positively?
That's a great question. And I want to ask an interim question, which is, raise your hand if you've ever failed. Raise your hand if you've survived it. How do we change the perception of risk?
Well, I think wishful thinking, but one thing would be great is to have a company get a great exit here in Milwaukee. Nothing quite like that. So I'm wishing that for all of us, actually. But that would be helpful. I think biotech is very capital intensive. Health tech is not. You can do a lot with a little. We've got a good angel network. We have good angel networks here. We've got capital. John, I know you're here, and I know Venture Investors is working on some great things. We've got a new fund with Aurora. We've got a new fund at NM. I think there are others that are coming. So there is capital here, and I think we are capital efficient. But boy, if someone could get a nice exit, we'll be on the map. I think with these new funds, it's going to provide for syndication. So that's the other thing is we want funds from the coast to come here, or other funds in the Midwest to come here. So if we can do a B, someone can get an A round locally, you can do a B round and get syndication, and now we've got new funds actually doing business here, and that's what we really want. Is we want to have them bring their money here.
So I'd love to add to that. Thank you. I am very proudly not from here. I know there's always a moment. I moved here 4 years ago from New York City. And you know what my impression of Milwaukee was before I got here? Was it positive or negative? What's your sense? It was nothing. It was absolutely nothing. It was a blank void. It was a person without a face. My job now is to be an obnoxious East Coaster for Milwaukee. So I spend all day challenging owners to be proud, to tell folks, hey, this is what we are doing here. So I'm going to challenge you all right now. Who here has started a company and hired an employee? Raise your hand. Holy crap, that's amazing. Okay. Who here has started a company and has grown that company to do over $1 million? Holy smokes. Who here, wow, my voice got cracked. I'm excited. Who here has sold a company? All right, now it's gonna get personal. You guys ready to get personal? We're gonna puff our chest. Who here has sold a company over $1 million? Who here is willing to say how much they sold a company for? Exactly! You come from where I come from and you can't stop them from telling you. Hey, I'm Elmer and I sold $1 million company, but I'll take a ginger ale. So I'm gonna challenge you all to be unabashed about your success. Unabashed about your failures too. Because I think of myself as really committing my life to young people. So when you tell these things to young people, they understand what it looks like. Right? Hey, I got here because I tried, I believed, other people invested, and I fell on my face and then I got up, and this is amazing. I want you to do the same. So be proud, be loud. Okay? Thomas. Amen.
As we said earlier, not only do we have the 5th largest concentration of health tech developers in the country, we also, Eastern Wisconsin also has the highest quality healthcare delivery system in the country.
Amen.
The state of Wisconsin has the 2nd largest number of patents per capita in the country.
What?
And the 3rd or 4th largest concentration of industrial designers in the country.
How? He's like waving his hands with the spirit. I want to hear it.
I've been in Milwaukee since a long time, 69. You guys don't know a lot about what's been going on here. There's 2 universities right in town teaching biomedical degrees for people in nursing and in engineering. Marquette's been turning out PhDs since before I got here. So don't think this is brand new stuff, man. I've been making a list of companies that have been in Milwaukee. Mortara Instruments, I think it was up on the list.
Yeah, Justin.
Marquette, before GE bought it and sold parts and got it back.
Stand up, don't sit down, talk about this.
GE has had many major developments happen in Milwaukee. I actually worked in surgery with Leppley and Johnson doing open heart surgery, some of the first in the country right here in Milwaukee.
Yes.
Merge Technologies, hello guys. Merge Technologies has been a Milwaukee company since the early 70s.
Amen.
IBM just bought them.
That's
so
awesome.
Don't say about a company being bought up. There's one happened. I didn't hear anybody talk about it. The medical has been here, guys. This is not brand new.
Hey, listen, it's not, I totally agree, and don't mishear me. This place is incredible. This place is amazing, I love it. I'm defensive about people saying anything not amazing about Milwaukee. This place is awesome. It also has the best denim manufacturer in the country. Yes. You have a question?
I did, but you did.
Oh, please, sir.
I was just going to ask about the developer community here. I didn't know that it's the 5th largest in the U.S. And I guess my assumption when I moved here 4 months ago would be that we wouldn't have the 5th largest amount of developers. So how? Yeah. How why? And with the people that have companies here, yours seems to have probably fairly intensive software. Are most of your programmers like local or are they remote?
Mine are global. So I've got some here, but I've got some everywhere, pretty much around the clock.
MSOE, Marquette, a lot of the universities are training. I think it's that we have very high, like a high quality, high caliber of software developers. The universities have turned out incredibly high quality people, and I think our community's done a good job keeping them here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there's been also an influx of developers coming into our community because of the fact that our city, not just that our city is great, but we have a great cost of living. So I think we've attracted some really top talent that way as well. And we have a great urban culture and a beautiful light. So I think we've done a good job attracting and keeping the great candidates who are coming out of universities. And we've been we've benefited from that talent.
Thank you for that. So we're going to wrap. I'm going to take 1 second. We're going to take 1 second. So first, please applaud them. Thank them. In one word, ready? The question is our superlative, right? So finish this sentence. Milwaukee has the best or most blank in the country. Okay? This is our aspiration. We are claiming it here today. Whatever you say is what we're going to become. Ready? We're going to go first with Eric.
What's Pat answer? The most best what? We have the most potential to make a real difference in how healthcare is delivered.
Boom! I love that one. Jake, give it to me.
This is gonna be a little different because this has been burning a hole on my lap on here.
Yes.
This is a sort of, I think, shows what I want to get you guys involved with. When I started, I just got this text while I was sitting here from a person who couldn't show up when I told her about it a few days ago. We both started clinics here exactly a year ago. She started as a nurse practitioner doing mental health, getting actually into telemedicine within city centers in here within pharmacies so that you get mental health care to places that are not being touched. She has an incredibly innovative thing, teaching from all over the place. She took a very different approach in terms of the typical clinic model, taking a lot of money, a lot of investment. It's her and her husband working full time. She's not here because she's having to do full other part-time job working at Winnebago Mental Health Institute, which is not a nice place up near Oshkosh. She's not here because of that, and she is there not knowing what to do, stressed every day. Her husband and her have pulled 5,000 away completely. I'm one of their advisors. They have a brilliant model. She did not tie into the disruptive or the health tech model, and I think that's where I bootstrapped and started very differently. But this is an absolutely, you have beautiful people in healthcare. We need to support them so they're not struggling like this and take their ideas and make it big. I'm sorry, that's the reason I look at my phone. It's been out here. The whole idea at the end of it is, it's hyphenated, but yes, this is no effing joke anymore.
So,
I'll do with the family.
Milwaukee is the most supportive city for health tech entrepreneurs in the country.
We want to support our clinicians.
Amen. The hook is coming, so I'm just going to warn you guys. The hook is coming. Go ahead.
Milwaukee is the most intentional about becoming the tech hub in our country.
Yes. Hey. Bring it home, brother. Bring it home.
All right, I'll try. I think Milwaukee becomes the best place for healthcare problem solving.
Thank you all so much for this opportunity. Thank you all so much for preaching to our congregation here. I encourage you all tonight to increase the connectivity. Milwaukee is the most connected city for entrepreneurs in the country. Prove me right tonight. Tracy?
Thank you. Another hand for everyone on the panel. Stay and to network, and of course, if you want the party to continue, to go to City Lights Brewing Company. And if you really want the party to continue, we're having another event tomorrow, a pitch event and a showcase at the Hilton in downtown as Milwaukee Startup Week continues.
One quick thing: if you're not a member of the Facebook page for HealthTech-MKE, you need to become one. Yeah. So join our group together, and we'd love to have you.
Thank you.